Okay, here we go. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to a very special New Earth interviews, where in just a couple of minutes, I'm going to be bringing in Janine, and we're going to be doing some tarot readings for everybody on Zoom call. Okay, so if you guys are not on the Zoom call yet, you can go ahead and register. Let me just go ahead and put that link up just in case you guys don't have it yet. I'll put that up on the chat here. So this will be the link to that, and let me just go ahead and pin that on the chat. There we go. So again, if you guys are not on Zoom yet, just go to my pinned comment here on the chat here on YouTube, and you can just click on that link, and you can join me and Janine here in just a couple of minutes as we're going to be taking questions from the audience. Now, very important as well, everybody, make sure your questions are semi-personal and general in nature. Okay, so please no personal questions. We want to try and keep things semi-personal and general so that the questions that you ask Janine will serve a lot of people altogether. But before I bring in Janine, we're just going to go ahead now and just start off with some announcements.
Beautiful, sacred geometrical clothing to detoxify, rejuvenate, and strengthen the body. Shop now at healingcodeshop.com.
The latest revelation in alternative healing has arrived. The Healing Code cards, a spiritual technology unlike anything else. Through the power of sacred geometry imbued with pure source energy, physical ailments can become eliminated and detoxified from your body. 36 cards specifically designed to work on the major areas of the body, encouraging natural recovery and increased vitality. Working with the cards are easy, and their healing results are profound. Download our collection of free sample cards so you can experience results for yourself. And don't forget to view our customer testimonials. Our printed Healing Code card deck is available now with shipping available worldwide. Visit our website at healingcodecards.com.
And of course, I'm doing private sessions and 3-question email sessions, as well as distance healing requests. So again, you can find all that out more on newearthteachings.com. You can check that out. And of course, the Kundalini and Inner Practices Stonehenge Tour, we actually do have 2 slots left. We have 2 more spots for this exciting tour of going to the UK from July 30th to August 6th with me. I will be hosting it. And again, we're going to be looking at incredible phenomena from Stonehenge, crop circles, looking into Avalon. We're going to be making ET contact with the Pleiades. We're going to have Kundalini awakening. This, again, will just give you a little bit of an insight about the schedule as you check it out. Okay, so the website is wowtours.de. You can find the schedule here, find out exactly everything that we're going to be doing. You can also check out some of the tour highlights here, some of the beautiful photos here of a lot of the places that we're going to be visiting. It's going to be absolute paradise. And of course, looking at some of the beautiful hotels that we're going to be staying at as well too along the trip. So I'm going to be having a wonderful time with everybody who's going to be a part of this amazing tour. We're going to again see a lot of the UK. We're going to see a lot of areas of Stonehenge, of the Crop Circle Museum, of Avebury, and we're going to have an amazing time. It's a once in a lifetime experience. Of course, we are looking to make physical ET contact as well too along the trip. So it's going to be really exciting. So again, go ahead and check that out. That is wowtours.de. And of course, everything that is on the YouTube channel here is backed up onto Odyssey, the New Earth Teachings backup channel. You can also find this in the video description, odyssey.com/@newearthteachings. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'll bring Janine in. So Janine, welcome to New Earth Interviews today.
Hi, Brad. Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, me too. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So just as we were talking before we came on the air, it looks like you've been really busy with your website, and you said you're also on Rumble right now with Jean-Claude.
Yep. Thursdays.
On Thursdays, okay. 11 o'clock?
Yeah, it's actually at 4 Eastern and 2 Mountain Standard.
2 Mountain Standard. Okay, so that for us in Pacific time, that'll be 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So 1 o'clock Pacific time as well too.
Yeah.
And I've also put a video in the video description as well too, a link to Janine's donation. Okay, so you can do it. You can leave a donation for Janine in the YouTube video description. You'll find it there. Okay, so we're always appreciative for having Janine on. I know she does a lot of work with the tarot and phenomenal work with the tarot as well too. So feel free to leave a donation with her in the video description as well too. All right, so what we're going to do first and foremost is we're going to take questions from the audience. So let me just go ahead and pull up a window there. There we go. So again, if you guys do have questions for Janine, just feel free to put it into the Q&A chat. For those of you who are Zoom attendees, please just put your questions in the Q&A chat here, okay? And then we'll look into each one. Okay, so again, guys, please no personal questions. I will not be taking personal questions. Just make sure your questions are semi-personal or general in nature. Okay, so, and of course, a lot of people are starting off with personal questions. Okay, let's start off here with Barbara. Barbara says, in Canada, has the government with cannabis been tampered with? Okay, so has cannabis been tampered with, as in GMO and toxins within the government of Canada? It seems way stronger than it used to be. How pure is the government cannabis in Canada? Interesting question, Barbara. Thank you for that.
It is. So there's a big yes on that. Yes, it's been tampered with. And that's maybe unbeknownst. So they hide the tampering.
Oh.
So that's interesting. Now this Ace of Swords, or sorry, this Queen of Swords, I feel like that's coming out though. So that's known to like that's been outed somehow. And I feel like it's just a matter of time for that to be righted. So that's not going to be for long. And pretty soon we're going to have more of a natural product back.
Oh, good.
So it's been tampered with. Maybe that's part of the old system that is on the way out. And I feel like there's already a plan to bring it back to a more natural state.
Great. So Barbara, I hope that answers your question with that. Let's go on to another one. Okay, here's one from Cassandra. Cassandra says, hi, Janine, what advice do the cards have for everyone on the Zoom call today for 2023? I guess a collective reading for everybody on the Zoom call today.
Wow. Interest. 2 really opposite cards here. So she's self-loving. See that Venus symbol? Really takes care of herself. She's open to abundance. Okay. She loves to enjoy nature. She enjoys the sensual pleasures of the earth because this place is here to be enjoyed. Okay. But we were told all kinds of lies about it. like lies like that we're ruining the planet. Like, I know we could do a little better, but actually who's ruining the planet are mostly the elites and their big businesses. Right. So anyway, and we're programmed to go along with those things. Okay. But we're not literally ruining the planet ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So this card here is about all the things we've been told about what's happening. Also, it's saying the lies you were told about how we're going to have shortages every which way could also be lies. So I'm thinking things are more abundant than you're being told. It's just going to be a matter of breaking the illusions that have been put out there. So there's a whole bunch of illusions floating around that we're not going to have. We're going into a big depression where I feel like it's all the opposite of that, but it's a matter of the time we know that in our hearts. So keep in mind, visualize this card and the idea around it, which is invite abundance into your life, self-care, love yourself, be thankful already for your abundance, even if you're not feeling it yet, because we're moving into a time of abundance. It won't happen overnight, but let's help call it in. Okay. And don't stay, because cards with swords, they're mentally and verbally, don't stay in not having and or the idea of the fear of not having certain things, certain items. Yeah, the world will change, but it actually becomes more abundant and healthier on all levels. So just keep that in mind.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you for your question. This one here is from Susan. Susan says, I recently channeled Mr. T of the USA, and he communicated to me that he is the director of the Mr. B movie. What do the cards have to say about this? Is Mr. T pulling the strings of the Mr. B administration for the purpose of awakening the masses?
Well, I don't need my cards to tell. I've been reading that one for years. So that's a big old yes.
Yeah.
But maybe not specifically Mr. T, but he's in front of a group, and is my feeling on it. So yeah. So there's truth and yes to that. A big yes, even the cards are agreeing, of course. Yeah, so that's been going on for quite a few years, maybe longer than we thought. I think all the governments in the major places in the world have already capitulated to what we call the Alliance, the White Hats, the Galactic Helpers, Mr. T. He's in front of that, but I don't think him literally, he's not pulling the strings. I think a group of energies and entities.
It feels like there's a higher tier. With,
yes.
As I call the counter forces, the human guardians, so to speak, in that way. So going back to good old times, I remember those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take a look at another question here. So again, guys, please, no personal questions. I'm seeing quite a few personal questions here. No personal questions, please. So here's one from Marlene. Marlene says, I hear a lot about the events leading up to the 1,000 years of peace. Please talk and perhaps pull some cards on what we will see at that moment. Will our bodies be solid, or will we be in spirit entering this new phase?
Well, we've got 10s and 9s around it, so we're pretty much entering it as we speak. I think it's an ongoing process and might take time to even realize you're already there. This was in the middle, so it's right in front of your eyes. So I think it's just a matter of veils being lifted that about the truth about situations. So it's already present with us. That dimension you're talking about, it's right there. And you can especially feel close to it, it looks like in nature, or when you're in tune with nature. Okay, so you can feel close. Will be solid, according to these cards. Will be solid. It's how we think about things and see things that'll be different. It won't be physically, we'll still be a physical being, it looks like. It's more about how we think about things and what we know, as opposed to all of the propaganda. It's like that all leaves, and then we know the truth, because this is knowing something true. So it's what we know and how we see it and that'll change everything. But your physical self will be a physical self still.
Exactly. And if I was to comment on the 1,000 years, I said, guys, once we have peace on this planet, it's not going to go anywhere, right? Once you have established a divine awakening within yourself, that's not just going to fade away. That's not going to be temporary. So a lot of people talk about 1,000 years of peace, right? But once we have that claimed here on the planet, humanity will evolve. It's kind of like if you're seeing a magic show and you know the magician's tricks, right? You're not going to forget about knowing the tricks that the magician does. So once you know the tricks of the magician, you're not going to fall for it anymore. So it's not so much an idea of saying, oh, we'll only have 1,000 years of peace and then some other blunders will come to us all together. So that again just becomes an old kind of superstition with the idea of 1,000 years of peace. Once we have it, then it's always there. But you're always going to be here on this planet for as long as you're in this body. For as long as you're here in this body, and then when you leave and you decide to do whatever you want to do, you can. But yeah, we do have a particular agreement here on the planet in regards to our physical body, living life in this way. And the whole idea, like I said, is just remember that your true happiness, that's your true nature. So again, very good question. Thank you for that. Let's go into the next question here from Carol Ann. Carol Ann says, hi, Janine. I would like to know what the future holds for New York State after what just happened in the governor election. Thank you. Sending blessings.
Okay, so I want to remind that person that all those elections were a big movie. So that's all part of the movie. And it's hard to hear that. I get that, but I can't stop saying that because it's always true in the cards.
Yeah, so I tell people all the time.
Yeah. You watched a big movie and it was to out people. Now look at this card. So that's an illusion card. So you talked about after the election going forward in your state. So it's saying this was that's a very unique card. It also asks you to hang in there because you are watching an illusion. Okay, that could even be a movie card. Okay, you're watching an illusion. And a lot of the players aren't even real. Like you're watching people standing in for different people depending on what kind of deals they made. Okay, so that's a captured, this is in the past, they've been captured. That's a captured outfit that you're watching, and they've all been told to play the part. And it's part of the outing. So waking up, it's a wake up call. So it was all designed to wake people up and or put it in their conscious minds what's been going on. So they can point back to this. When the reveal happens, they're going to have something to point back to and get you to really look closely at what did you really see there? It's like a sleight of hand going on.
Exactly, the magician's tricks, right? So exactly
things are going to look, things are going to look really different, and you're going to see all those politicians leaving the stage.
Yes.
Okay, absolutely. And then it'll be all different. So that's a whole nother couple of hours worth of reading on how will it look different. But
so you see, guys, it's not just me telling you the exact same thing, because I've been telling people, God, it's a movie. It's a movie. It's not real. It's a stage play. It's a movie that you're looking at. So yeah, whenever you're looking at these elections as well too, guys, you're looking at a soap opera, right? You're just looking at actors on stage and they're just playing a role. So, okay, once the cameras are off, then it's a whole different scene. It's kind of like professional wrestling. As soon as they go behind the curtain, like, oh man, that was such a good match. And thank you so much. And it was wonderful. That's all they're doing too. It's all a movie. Please don't take any of the stuff that you see with elections and all that stuff. And seriously, that's for the sleepers. You guys are awake. You gotta remember that. Very important. So very good. Thank you, Caroline, for that question. Here's another one here from George. Janine, do the cards show big changes coming around December 18th and after? What can we expect around that time? And thank you, George, for your question.
So that's the strategy being planned. Something that's already been put in play a long time ago. Okay, so that date is one of the dates that they have very strategically planned for. And I believe even the place that he's likely referring to the World Cup, because that's also the date of the World Cup, where half the world's population could be watching, right? That's how many viewers they get on the World Cup. So, and even where it was chosen to be and like the location and the date was all planned. And they found out, apparently it was, so it was very strategic. So they found out that date and place was all planned by No, none other than, because they planned these things years ahead, Mr. T, so Trump. Okay, so that he actually was very instrumental in getting it to be where it was and the date. So that's interesting. It looks like there's going to be first something maybe revealed that's been a lie. Maybe even people you thought were gone there's a celebration of people you thought you were missing could be back, or things you thought were true could turn into lies, but then there's the celebration of finding out the truth. So it's a bit of both here. So we might even see, who knows, maybe they're going to bring out all of those people they've been talking about who've supposedly passed on, but a whole group of them haven't. So they arranged their own passing over, and it's almost like a rebirth. This almost feels like there's going to be a celebration of people you thought were gone, and lies you thought were true. You find out they've been a lie.
There you go. Yeah, it's people like faking their own death and then coming back at a certain time. Very good. All right, George, thank you for your question. This one here is from Lou. Lou says, please take a look at Vancouver Island or British Columbia and let us know if it's safe to be here. Will there be earthquakes or natural disasters? And if there are, when might that happen?
So Vancouver Island?
Vancouver Island, British Columbia. Yeah,
Okay.
around that area. Yes, she's in Parksville, so mid-island. I used to be from Vancouver. I'm born in Vancouver Island, so I'm from Port Alberni. So usually if we get like floods, if we get earthquakes, usually Vancouver Island is the one that gets hit pretty hard with it at first. And then the mainland kind of secondary. But
Okay, so it looks like the idea of that had a lot to do with manipulation. Okay, so we've got this victory card. Something's been changed, because then this card was in the middle. Something's been switched up that creates a victory for humanity that changes that narrative. So that was a narrative that, and it could have even been something put in place by like almost a booby trap in the weather systems and whatever, or that was something they were planning. And then they were putting it out there. Okay, because, they wanted to take us out, and they've got all of these ways to do it. And that could have been one of the ways. And it feels like that's been changed. So the narrative's been changed to the advantage of humanity. In other words, so no, it won't be taken out by tidal waves and, tsunamis and whatnot. So that's been balanced out, let's say. That's a karmic balancing card in the favor of humanity. So I guess the favor of humanity wouldn't be to take out places in life in a large degree. So that's been switched up. So you can let go of that fear.
yes, yeah. They've been saying that since the early 90s. Ever since I was a kid, they would always say, oh, there's the big one coming, right? The big one coming for BC.
Yeah.
Could be like an 8 or a 9 on the Richter scale. It'd be big tidal waves. Those were all part of old ploys, guys, and we're way past that right now too. So again, I've had questions about that too, about Vancouver, because Alberta would get hit at the same time. So I said, no, we're done with that, right? A lot of that has been artificially engineered, and a lot of those toys are being taken away from the old dark cabal. So Counter Forces has a lot of that toys now. All right, so thank you, Lou, for your question. Here's one from Anne. Anne says, insight for South Africa, please. Crime and corruption is at an all-time high. Huge government corruption, including the crisis with our electricity in South Africa. And I was in South Africa in 2019, so I had a feeling when I was there, there'd be a lot of upheaval coming up in the next couple of years, and here it is now.
Yeah, you got the dark cult really hanging on for dear life there. See that 9, it's been a really difficult time clearing these guys out. So some of them, some little groups, didn't get the memo that their upper, higher ups have been already taken out. So they're hanging on in their programming, hanging on, playing out their little roles but that's all changing as we speak for the better. Okay, so truth is coming out, and that's going to change everything. So they're also capitulated, but not all of them. Some of them resisted, okay, and are hanging in there. So it's just a matter of time where that switches. And this is a 6, so it could be 6 hours, days, or weeks with that one sword. So that's all going to switch around. And a lot of what you're watching is a movie.
Mhm.
Again, illusion, and lots of hidden things there that you don't know about, and many figures that you think are real and doing these things are actually have been taken out a long time ago. So you got a mixture there where it's not all cleared out, but a whole lot of it is. So you're gonna have to just wait that out, and just like everywhere, it's like that everywhere.
Yeah, it's happening all over the different places as well too. So this one here is from Sharon. Sharon says, just want to know what's happening with Israel these days. What's the momentum of energy about how Israel is doing, and what is Israel going through? Thank you, Sharon.
Okay, so Israel's further ahead than where we just looked here. This is the eighth. There's been a great breakthrough that's could even be transformational for Israel.
Mm.
Okay, so it's so well aspected, that tower, that it's more of a revelation and a breakthrough than a disaster. That can be a disaster if it's badly aspected, but it's more of a revelation with that ace. So there's been a revelation, and that was created by White Hat Alliance, Galactic Helpers. Okay, and it's going to change things. So this card's in the middle. It'll move things. It's the very beginning of moving things in a new direction. Okay, so yeah. In fact, your money system should change, but I think everybody's will. We got a gold-backed system here, brought in by, again, Mr. T. I always get that was a big vision he had, and he purposely really put a lot of energy and emphasis towards at least leaving the world with a gold-backed system instead of the cabal system and the gangster bankers. See that too? You just don't know about it. But you guys could be some of the first even to see that, and changes in your financial system could come there before anywhere else, even with that ace.
Well, there you go. So like I said, a lot of countries are definitely, I think there's some countries that are ahead, and there's some countries that are still going through some major shifts. So it all really just depends where you are in the world.
Yeah.
This one here is from Hanane. Hi, Brad and Janine. Can we have a message from the Elephant Kingdom, please? Anything in regards to the elephant consciousness that would like to talk to humanity? Very unique question. Thank you, Hanane.
Yeah, I love it. Wow. So elephants are they're very intuitive. It looks like even magical creatures. There's intuitive, she's intuitive and always listens to her intuition. And this is interesting because it feels like that the message they're giving, because that's a message being sent by spirit. So they're very, if a person is intuitive, they can easily hear what elephants have to say. You just have to decide to tune in, because they use your intuition to talk. Okay, so elephants say they're sending messages all the time, in particular to people that work intuitively in the world. So empaths and healers and readers of all kinds. Those are the people that could easily tune in. And if you even have a little bit of that and you choose to make a conscious effort, so they're saying make a little effort, use your instincts and intuition, you'll know exactly what they've been talking to you the whole time. They talk to humans. They're the keeper of ancient wisdoms. So they're the ones that are going to be very helpful in telling us our history, because they were probably there watching. They know a lot about human history and when different star seeds were brought here in groups. And I feel like they'll be very helpful in piecing together in the near future. So I get intuitives are going to work with them because they have long memories and hold the keys to a lot of our history.
Yes. If you look at Ganesha, Ganesha would be like the higher self, or the oversoul, relating to the elephant consciousness as well too. And everything's about gracefulness, love, and peace, to which they represent. They're highly intelligent too. So excellent. What a beautiful question. Thank you very much, Anani. Let's take a look at Tanya now. Tanya says, can you please read on the matrix outside of the matrix, life review? Told we have to reincarnate to deal with karma and then come back wiped of any memory and start all over again. So looking into life review, looking into reincarnation, dealing with karma, and then coming back and starting again.
So that system looks like it's all about to change. So it was around and we were held in it for a reason. Okay, and we can choose to stay in it, or we can, going forward, choose to stop. Soon as you know that you're in a matrix like that, you can choose to stop the cycle, being conscious of it. So the more conscious you become, and the more you understand and realize that you're in charge of that, the better off you'll be. So rising your vibration, understanding that you create your destiny, because that's a destiny card. That's what's held us in it, but it's also what's going to let us leave it. Mm-hmm. So in the future, there's going to be ways and probably teachers that teach you how, and or you could, depending on how much you focus on this, you could actually create figuring out how to get out of it yourself. And I've heard that a lot by really wise spiritual teachers. That's a choice we make until we stop choosing it.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about this all the time with people worrying about soul traps and feeling that they're not to go into the light when they leave the body. And I said, guys, you have to let go of all that because that's all fear. Mm-hmm. So the whole idea in that sense, yes, Dolores Cannon has talked about this a lot too, clearing away your karma. I've talked about it to death for years as well. The whole idea, guys, is just be your happiness, right? Just resolve all of these issues that you're going through personally. And for those of you who know all of this, your regular subscribers, you know what I'm talking about. For the people that are new in that sense, I'd like you to look at the release ball method. Okay, that's on my YouTube channel. It's under playlists. Release ball method, that's just helping you to surrender and to release to everything. Clear all of that debris out of your past, live here and now, be present. And you have the ability to have that omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence here and right now while you're alive. It's not about saying, oh, you have to wait until you're dead to do all this stuff. No, this is what you have the capability to do right here and right now. So let's work with release ball method. Let's work with ourselves. Do not concern so much about what is happening after I leave this life. Focus on life here and make it a beautiful life. So very good question. Thank you. And let's go to Kristen Richards. She says, hi, Janine. Here in the UK, they're building a Disneyland. Why, when we are told they're going down, is this the work of white or dark energy? Much love. So they're building a Disneyland in the
UK. So that was started maybe before the takedown. Because I get it was started, like the plans for it were already put in place 10 years ago. So things like that take a lot of time to manifest. And in the past, it was the dark hats, but it's since been taken over. I think all things Disney are now in the hands of the white hats. So you'll see a whole different thing manifest. They haven't actually decided what they're doing with. Are they going to still, they likely will change a lot about it. It says they're going to use the infrastructure and the plans to some degree, but a lot of changes are going to come. So that was started a long time ago and it was playing itself out. Then the war, the spiritual war took a real big front seat, and it looks like the white hats gained control of, well, I believe all of Disney's many years ago, even 3 or 4, they say now, Disney's income and properties and things like that. So I believe it's now in the hands of the white hat. So you'll see big changes there.
Yes. Yeah. I don't see Disney going down. I just see it being overhauled. Right. So a lot of things like with CNN, MSNBC, eventually a lot of these networks are going to be bought out. They're going to be counterforced, run in that sense. And the new information there will be very much like what you see with truthers doing or with conspirators doing in that way. You're going to see a lot more of that in the times ahead. When you see that, that's an indication that they're counterforce taken over. Same thing with Disney as well too. Disney itself is not being taken down. It's just being overhauled. It's being renewed. It's being revamped. Right? Same with a lot of other big corporations. There's the old filth is being taken out. and new stuff is being put in there. So new management is being taken over.
Yep.
Very good. Okay, here's one from Maria. Maria says, from a spiritual point of view, is it better to be cremated or buried when you leave the earth plane? Is there a difference? Right. Very good questions, guys.
Yeah, that's a great question, actually.
Good questions here today. I haven't even been asked that yet, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I've never looked at it. I've never looked at it, so this will be really fun.
Yeah.
So the universe. Okay. Interesting. It feels like keep intact, so that's not cremated. Wow. And it has to do with everything goes around, comes around. So that makes sense to now you're part of the system. Your body can feed the ground and the worms that create more, let's get, we could get really technical about it, but it's all part of the system putting back into. So it looks like burial is in because that's your body intact. But of course, that likely means there's probably a different way to do it, which doesn't include embalming and all of that kind of stuff, and doesn't include the fancy coffins. Just get yourself put into something that's easy that the earth can break down.
Exactly.
Right.
That makes sense as well too. You want to have everything that's preserved in your body to feed the earth, right? There's a lot of ancient indigenous kind of traditions as well too about making sure that a person is buried wholeness, right? There's nothing in regard to cremation that's there. It all depends. There's different societies doing different things, but I've never really given thought to it. So that's good. Very good question again, Maria. Thank you for that. Here's one from Leslie. Leslie says, will British Columbia soon drop the evil plans and join other provinces who are saying no to Trudeau, or rather his doppelganger, his avatar, because Trudeau's not here anymore?
Yeah.
So yes.
And his several players that play him. There's at least 3.
At least 3, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting. You never know which one you're going to get. They're waiting on some kind of chess move here. So there's a couple of things that have to go down before that. Yeah, it's just a matter of time, it says. You'll be celebrating like everybody. So they're 80% through the plan here, or largely finished here. This card's almost done.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're getting really close to where they expose all of these guys. But they got all these other things that got to be in place first. And I don't know, it feels really close. Like it's a big operation. Like it's mind-boggling what an operation this has been, but I believe we're really close to the end of this.
Yeah, especially as we get into 2023. 2023 is like a year of reset. So we may start to see the new financial systems coming online around that time as well. Maybe that's a question we can ask the cards right now. How are things going with the quantum financial system? And can we see that unveiling in 2023?
So the old ones doing that long, slow death rattle. It feels like a death rattle, but it literally has already gone down in the background. That's in the background card. That was in the background. Okay, and this is legality. So there's a lot of things legally going forward. They want to do everything right, it looks like. And this card is inevitable that other one's has to go down. Okay, it's already really failed, but we're just watching. I believe we're like at the funeral of it, really. And we're watching the funeral of it because this is why, because it's so dysfunctional. It was so dysfunctional, and it was incredibly just feeding the cabal. Anyway, so it looks like a yes on that, but it's some things have to happen first, and they're trying to decide exactly when the best time to bring it on is. And it looks like the dimensional beings that are probably our future selves coined the galactic helpers, and there's a few other names for them. They're the ones that are going to decide exactly when to bring it online. It's literally, it could even be working in the background on some levels with that card. you just don't see it because you're too busy looking at those three.
Well, I've been talking to quite a few people as well too, like some people in southern and southeastern United States actually going into their banks and asking them, are you guys ready for the quantum financial reset? They said, yep, we got all the software, we got all the hardware, everything like that. Whenever the time is to do it, we got everything in place, and it'll just be like a snap of a finger and everything comes online.
Yeah.
So that's what I would suggest everybody do. Guys, go to your banks, ask them, are you guys ready for the quantum financial system rollout? See what they say.
Yeah, see what they say.
Report back to me, report back to Janine.
Yeah.
See what you guys hear. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's one from Robin. Robin says the US president keeps reporting that its administration is attempting a partial student loan debt forgiveness. It's not for a large amount and is caught up in the courts. It seems this is a presentation for the movie. It's no way the trillions will be repaid. Will the total US student loan shark debt be forgiven? Will the total US student loan sharking debt be forgiven?
Okay, so first we got to clarify that is not the president of the United States.
No, it's
and
not.
every time I look at it, years and years of looking at it, it is that guy's false puppeted energy.
He's an actor. He used to be in movies.
Yeah, exactly. And he could even be a couple of different ones again. So we got a few different versions of him.
Exactly.
And that guy's just a puppeted actor, and he's being puppeted by the white hats and the
The Biden
alliance.
avatar. There's a Trudeau avatar. There's a Biden avatar.
Yeah. So we'll do the question on will the debt acquired
Student loan debt
by
forgiven.
student loan debt, will that get forgiven? Yeah. So this card's saying there's truth to the statement. A lot of debt's going to be forgiven. A lot of debt is, this is a facade card. So who you think you're paying things to, it's probably different than you really were paying. That's like taxes or like that. Now, we're not financial advisors or anything, but that's also the ending of a facade card. Okay, so yes, it's going to be forgiven but it'll be unique, and various different debts are going to be forgiven, and some things you will have to keep paying for, but they're going to sort all of that out. It feels like there's a lot of sorting out to do around that. That's still not entirely, like, this is like a bunch of people trying to sort something out here. It's well aspected with this card all around money, what belongs back to you and what doesn't, right? So say you bought somebody's house, you don't get all the money back from buying the house, because that would leave the person who sold the house with no money. That doesn't make sense. But you probably get the interest back, they say. So interest on things, interest is actually more or less, well, but what they say is it's illegal.
Yes.
Okay. But
And I
again,
think
I'm not a financial advisor.
That's basically what's going to be going
Yeah.
on. When we go into quantum financial system, you won't have the interest anymore.
Yeah.
So it's going to be some very interesting polls with that. But yeah, Canada is now just starting to do certain forms of debt forgiveness, usually for mortgages, for student loans as well. So they're starting to get into that. US
Yeah.
will follow shortly. The US is always kind of like the last runner. They're like, it's like a race. US is always in the back, right? So the same thing goes with the idea of dropping restrictions. I think we'll ask that about the United States next. When can we expect the restrictions at the border to be dropped for the unvaccinated to travel? We'll look into unvaccinated traveling in the US. And is that going to be happening around early 2023?
So that's a yes. It's a soft yes. So there's more to it than that.
Mhm.
And we've got the 9 of Cups. I believe a lot of people can travel. Okay, so you have to, it's energy. It's all about your energy. And is it your wish and vision to travel? I mean, I traveled into the US and it's felt a little bit like a miraculous situation. It was very interesting. Like the way it happened.
Was that recently?
Yeah, that I went on the Truther tour in the fall.
Oh, okay. Oh, great.
And it was like everyone was saying I was going to get, and it even all the signs going up into the airport and everything, all the signs were saying, oh, you need this, you need this, you need blah, blah, blah. I went straight up to one of those people. A series of things happened, and I got whisked away by somebody who actually apologized for them wanting to see your papers, basically, on your phone, QR. Yeah, they wanted to see it, and I didn't have it, and I was all ready to start arguing some points that I'd found online, right? Thinking, oh, I'm going to get turned away here. But in my heart, I just knew I needed to go on this truther tour, and I just had a feeling I was going to get through. So I stayed with that energy and didn't fear, and just was all ready to point to it. And the lady interrupted me and said, it's not the airline that wants to stop you and see your personal medical papers. It's the government. She said, and then she glanced at my phone, because I was all ready to show her this little article, that was some argument I had ready. It was my last sort of Hail Mary or whatever. And she looked at it almost like pretending she was looking at the code, maybe for the cameras, and then whisked me on, gave me my boarding pass, and off I went. Nobody else asked me for anything. So I feel like, and lots of people had those experiences that were on the tour. People were even coming from the UK and stuff, and they had told us, no, yeah, you got to show this and that. And energetically, you can work with that. So if you're a person who's not very fearful and is willing to manifest getting in, you probably can, because that's what that looks like. You need the right energy, though, and you got to just work on and be brave.
And that energy goes upon other people as well, too. So they let you in. Everything's just taken care of. It's the right people at the right moment, and going through that as well.
Yeah.
So I've always contemplated about that, because I am looking to go to the United States here very soon to do some work.
I don't think it'll be long before we're all.
Oh, I think it's going to be
ready
very
to travel all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel between January and March. I feel
that's the third month with that 3, and like
there you go. Yeah. Sounds like
March. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, great. So here's one from Star Owl. Star Owl says, what kind of healing modalities needed for what kind of healing modalities are needed for seniors with dementia? Okay. So I guess we'll ask the cards about that. People with dementia in that sense. I guess just a quick thing I can share is that just make sure you're doing a lot of detoxification of the body. Right, so we want to clean a lot of heavy metals out of the body. If you guys have the Healing Code Cards body deck, okay, work with the heavy metal eliminator card with an amplifier, okay, 20x or 30x amplifier, just putting that on your body, letting it be there for a few minutes, and that's going to help work with your prana to clear a lot of the toxic metals and toxic debris out of the brain. Those toxic metals and that toxic debris in the brain is actually what's causing a lot of dementia, schizophrenia, and many other different forms of neurological problems. So what do the cards say?
So as you were talking, I got a big yes on what you're saying. So it's nodding to your info. And also this card in the near future, which looks like there's going to be new things coming out that we don't even know about that are going to help as well. So adding to what you just said, there's going to be new things. And a big part of it is getting free from the kind of manipulation the whole system's been putting on food processing, and all those food processing plants burning. That's a sign.
Yes.
It's a sign to say, you know what? Why are we processing food in huge amounts? That's not healthy. We need small, little mom and pop food processing where you can keep things can be kept an eye on, and they're serving their own personal community. Okay, so they're beholden to the community, and if they're going to be doing anything that's harmful to the community, they're going to be, thrown out of the community. Like, that's how you keep an eye on things. You don't do massive food processing that goes all over North America. That makes no sense. That sounds like the perfect place for intervention by baddies, you know what I mean, to throw poison into your food. You need things smaller, more localized, like we've been saying for a long time.
Yeah. And again, a lot of neurological diseases have been going up these past couple of decades as well, too. Guys, it's the food we're eating, right? It's just there's a lot of poison in that processed food. People go to McDonald's and Jack in the Box and Burger King and all that stuff. That stuff is poison, guys. That's where you're putting all that poison in your body. So especially with the seniors, right? We just got to make sure we're getting a lot more living foods, superfoods, right? Go organic as best as you can. Work with the Healing Code Cards body deck. Work with the heavy metal eliminator, the biotoxin eliminator. If you guys are vaccinated, okay, if you know somebody who's been vaccinated, you work with the biotoxin eliminator in the body deck. helps to clear it out, right? So we do have some options, guys. We just have to be very attentive to these and help out people that we know are going through these struggles as well. This one here is from Anne. Hi, Janine. Is a family in Sweden the head of the deep state? Hugs from Anne in Sweden. So the family in Sweden, are they heads of the deep state?
So they're one of four really big families that could be considered head of the deep state. They're also a lot of them taken out already. So we've got that. They're on already out the door here. That death card ensures a complete change there, but there's still some things going on that's like they still have some coughing and wheezing to do. Right. So, but they're on their way out. You better believe it. And I would say like I said, there's 2 4s in the reading. There's 4 different families. One is really hidden and people aren't even aware of this one. And they're probably the very head. Okay. So there's there's multiple, but there's, in a way, what you're saying is true. Sweden's definitely got one of the biggest 4 families. I'll say it like that.
And a lot of them are basically falling in line right now. So they're all being infiltrated as well. To Switzerland, because that has been a stronghold for cabal. They're about to be infiltrated. Russia's about to take them down. So basically, and they say, you guys can either surrender or we go in and we take you guys down. So a lot of these big countries that have had this, the dark cabal, you could say patsies in that sense, are about to be taken down. And a lot of the royal families in that sense are either 2 options. Number 1, they either play ball with the counter forces. Number 2, they don't play ball, they get processed and they get put in with doppelgangers. And they start running things as well. So either way, it's going to be counterforce driven altogether. So very good question again there. This one is from Sherry. Will the housing market soon reset to manageable prices, including rent prices and commercial space early 2023? I think in all honesty, we're going to have to wait for the quantum financial system for that. Okay? You're not going to get it out of the old economy. Okay? The old economy has to fall away and die, and then let a brand new economy come in. And that would be quantum financial system and other systems that are coming. But let's see what the cards.
So how would you poise the question again, Brad?
Yeah, will the housing market soon reset to manageable prices, including rent prices and commercial space? And is this happening in early 2023?
So like you said, things have to officially, because there's a big facade here around it. Okay. And a lot of things are exaggerated. Like I feel like some of the housing prices, they're still.
Oh, they're horrible.
Hang on. Especially where you are, Brad.
Oh, geez. Yeah, it's crazy here.
Like at least Calgary's
Like
sort of doing
1.5 million to get like a 2-bedroom house or something like that.
Yeah. Hang on. I got a frog in my throat here. Okay. So could take up to 6 months. Yeah. So like you said.
Yeah, so it could take 6 months, guys. And like I said, once we get out of the old quantum or the old fiat currency system, you'll move much more into the quantum financial system. And as we do that, there'll be much more of an opportunity for change to happen. Because like I said, you won't have debt, you won't have interests.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of it's going to be much more manageable. A lot of it's going to be defaulted, I would say. So we'll just see how things go with that, right? Once that starts to happen, this is why I say, guys, go to your banks. Talk to your banks, ask them, are you guys ready for a quantum financial system rollout? See what they say. We're already getting some people on the chat that are doing it. I say, yeah, we're pretty much prepared for that. So there you go. Keep asking and report that to everybody, right? Okay, let's go to the next question here from Debbie. When will we see a return of previous all-time highs in Bitcoin and Ethereum? So as Bitcoin and Ethereum, I'm going to see some all-time highs coming up here very soon. I think a lot of people have been predicting that the cryptocurrency would be a little shaky during this time, right up to around the time of January. Astrologists would basically talk about that with cryptocurrency. It's going to be a little shaky up to around January. And after that, it might start to peak a little bit, and it might be kind of in waves after that time.
Yeah, some of it's going to die a death though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and or it gets worse before it gets better. And then others will rise up after that, and some will never rise up.
Mhm.
So that's all around cryptos and Bitcoin, but some will rise up and get really strong again. So I feel like I know there's some truthers out there saying all Bitcoin and crypto is going to go and never be seen again. I don't get that. I never get that. I always get there's going to be some that go and never be seen again, and some that rise. And around the time the dollar crashes finally, which I believe is coming absolutely, and
We're getting
anything could,
kind of like overhauls.
yeah, anything could trigger that right now. It's crazy, but some of it will get a lot stronger, and all of it saying in the next maybe 2 months here. This could even be weeks where you really start to see it, but within 2 months anyway.
Yeah, XRP would probably be one of your best options, guys. Right, so best to go with XRP. They're a lot more clean.
That's
So,
agreeing with you.
yeah, exactly. So Bitcoin, I don't think it's going to. I think the people behind Bitcoin are basically going to fall out. And then there'll probably be some overhaul, just like they're doing with Disney, just like they're doing a lot of different things with the mainstream media. A lot of overhauling is going to come together. So maybe it won't be called Bitcoin anymore. Maybe have some sort of new name. But it feels like there's going to just be a lot of changes happening behind the scenes.
Again, we're not financial advisors.
Yes.
We're just seeing what the cards say.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just giving you forecasts, and that's guys. That's all we're doing. Yeah. April, it says, is there a large sect of 33-degree? Okay, let me just try and code these words here. 33D F Masons that are good in that protect sacred knowledge and the Christ bloodline, and who have been working with the Alliance to take down these evildoers. So if there's a large sect of good F Masons.
With the 33 degree.
The 33D F Masons that are good, helping to protect the sacred knowledge and the Christ bloodline, who have been working with the Alliance to take down the evildoers.
So I'm not sure it's time to know that. I wonder if it's for their protection to still.
Yeah, a lot of it's secrecy, right?
They might still need a little time to be maybe not officially called out to be doing that. But yeah, I think the person's saying the truth.
Yeah, I would have to say, yes, it's true, but we can't really reveal stuff like that to you because it's all under wraps right now. So maybe there'll be a time and place where something like that can be revealed a bit more. Okay, a question from Debbie here. Will we see an arrest of the Pope in 2023?
So the Pope's been processed a long time ago, just so you know.
Mhm.
It's all an illusion. This is the magician, so they use CGI with them. They use all kinds of things, techniques. Yeah. And yeah, he's long gone. Surrender. He had to surrender a long time ago. Remember that video of Trump going to visit him and that grumpy face he had on? That was real. Okay, that was when he capitulated, and then he got rounded up a little, maybe a year after that or something. So here we've got the world. So there's nobody even like the Vatican's all fake. Whatever you're seeing is a movie. If you go visit the Vatican, you're not visiting those aren't, it's not functioning the way it used to. It was an evil, evil place, right? So down the road, we might hear about it. I feel like he just exits left stage somehow. Yeah, so they find a way to.
They have a lot of underground vaults and bunkers as well too in the Vatican. So there's a lot of hidden chambers. And
they've got a way that they're going to exit him, but I don't think it's that dramatic as rounding him up in public. Although that would be really awesome.
They're being very, very careful with stuff like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of these things that we're seeing, guys, will never really be in the public eye. We'll just see like one person's here. The next day, all of a sudden, we see a different person with a different nose, different eyes, different facial features and all that stuff. You know that something's happened, but they're not going to like grab the, come on, you're under arrest, right? And make a public display, unless that's part of a narrative. But I don't think that'll be happening anytime soon. Here's one from Mario. Will there be significant changes in large cities in Mexico? Most people around here are really unaware of what's going on. So will there be significant changes around Mexico with the idea of all these changes taking place?
So they're wondering how Mexico is going to fare.
Yeah, I guess they're wondering, a lot of people are unaware in Mexico. So they're just wondering how people are going to change with seeing these new changes coming together. What are the people of Mexico going to feel when these changes happen?
It looks like once things break through into the public, so the mainstream media stop covering up or whatever, however it happens, they're very quick to catch up. And they really like the idea, the people of Mexico really like the idea of sovereignty and or being a free people. And by the way, when I was there, like what I love about Mexico, I've been there several times years ago, but many times, and I loved it. And I always felt underlying freedom and loving people. So I feel like maybe they just go along so they don't get hassled. That's the feeling, because this looks like they take to it absolutely like a fish to water. They love it. It's an easy transition, more so than other places that are really embedded in the idea that they were free to begin with. Mexican people maybe already know they're really not free. They're just trying to not get noticed by the creeps that run the place. You know what I mean? I feel like they understand more than anybody. They just never thought they'd get freed. So when they do, they're really take to it really quickly. And it's not that hard for them to shift over, and a lot of changes will happen fast.
Exactly. I was in Tulum just last month, and I was with a lot of Mexican people. A lot of Mexican people are aware of what's going on, guys. So I don't quite agree with the comment that thinking that people are unaware in Mexico. They're very aware of what's going on, right?
Yeah.
I was in Tulum for a whole week, and I could just overhear people talking about big changes coming and all that stuff. So yes, Mexican people are very aware of what's going on. So it's the same thing anywhere in the world, right? And I think it's all about the people you attract as well, too, right? You bring some people in who are informed, they'll talk to you about it. If you think that everybody's in the dark, then they're going to be in the dark, right? It's just all based upon your energies. Here's one from anonymous attendee. Will Canadians have a financial abundance before Christmas? So with financial abundance, I guess I think we're talking about Nasara, I guess. Financial abundance before Christmas. I would just say, guys, don't hold your breath with that, but we'll see what the cards say.
Well, different individuals might. Okay, so if you've done your spiritual work, this has actually been an incredible time for abundance for people that went away from any system type job, because most of them are going to have to change, right? If you are in the medical system, if you are in the government system, you got a government job, you depend on the government for your income, et cetera, and or big corporations, a lot of them are deep state and dark cults. So a lot of people have already created financial independence. It's actually been a really interesting time, all during the supposed lockdown pandemic stuff. People have found all kinds of ways, especially YouTubers, by the way. And even though YouTube represses everybody, there's also, if you work really hard and you have a message out there and you're attracting viewers, you can create, if you happen to want to do monetization, you got to work hard like everything, but there's been all kinds of opportunities. So just to note that individual people could become abundant. Right, just so the answer is correct when I answer it. And this 7 of Pentacles, that's everybody's been waiting for that for a long time. So there's all kinds of things they're waiting for. People are waiting for RV to reset. People are waiting for Jasara Nasara. I believe a version of debt forgiveness, and some version of it might not be exactly to the rules of Jasara Nasara. So things will change, but they're going to take a little more time. Okay, and there's some events that have to happen. But in the background, I feel like papers have been signed and things have already been signed for things to happen. And by June, you'll really see a lot more abundance just for everyday regular folks that didn't maybe do their own work. There's so many ways you could become abundant right now. So don't just sit around waiting for that. Find ways to do it. Whatever you do, Don't buy into systems anymore. Already start it already. Do things for yourself. I've been doing this. So she depends on her own self for income my entire life. I never had a paycheck really in my life. Maybe when I was younger and waitressing and bartending while I was studying the tarot, but I'm telling you, I was making about $3.25 an hour. So I didn't really depend on my paycheck. It was all in the tips. Okay. So I was already working as an entrepreneur in a way, because it's like how good you serve your table equals your income. Okay. How big is your smile equals your income, and how cheery are you, and how good do you serve the table? Okay. So we all gotta go in this direction. You guys find your personal individual passion and follow it. Don't depend on a big corporation or, you know what I mean? A big government system or a system of some kind, because that's not where things are going.
Yeah, and I think that's where the question's coming from. So I think everybody just thinks that they're just going to sit at home and just get a big payoff from the government. And it's not that way, guys. You have to really be innovative. You want to be creative. You want to go out and do things. And that's going to bring you into a great financial abundance. It's kind of like what Amy and I are doing, right? We're doing our own unique thing, and we're doing well. And like I said, you have to work. This is not coming from me just sitting on my butt and say, oh, the government will take care of me, right? And that's even thinking with the Titanic. So make sure you're being creative, work with your innovations, and yeah, you're going to see some great financial abundance come. Here's one from Debbie. Do you see a widespread blackout in the United States coming soon? A widespread blackout.
I get it more like rolling. So some places will be shut down while others are not, and then that'll switch. So I don't get the whole of the US or Canada or any place like that shuts down at one time. I feel like it does a rolling shutdown. So things could be rolling where a few hours or days at a time, and then it moves to another spot. So I don't get it entirely like the whole world shuts down or the whole US shuts down at once. Yeah, it's not like quite like that. And it'll be doable. Everybody will be able to, you can work with it. If you chose to come here and made the, like anything that's handed, you have to trust that you can handle this. Okay. Because you're here at this time and it's happening equals you can do it. Okay. So if you decide that, you're going to do a lot better than fearing and worrying about it. Okay. Just trust and verbally say and put out there, whatever comes my way that's a challenge is going to teach me. I'm going to become stronger for it, and better things will come after it, and I can handle it. Decide that. Even if you are fearful, start saying that instead, and your mind will change. Your fears will dissipate when you use your brain as the tool that it is. It's just a tool. And get your soul to guide the brain to say the right thing. And then your vibration will change. So go with your soul and intuition first, lead with that, and get your brain in line instead of letting your brain, lead you around in circles of fear. Okay. You tell your brain what to think, and then you'll create that.
Exactly. And that's a very important thing, guys. Like I said, I noticed that there's some people that sometimes will get like internet outages. We've had a little bit of internet outages here and there. They only last maybe a couple of hours and they come back on. So there are certain outages that are happening, but it's always sporadic. It's always in small bits. So definitely I don't see it all happening at once, but bits at a time. Yeah. Here's another question here from Elaine. Will Canada become part of the United States? Will the US and Canada be one country? I guess maybe are we expecting to see that in 2023?
That's still to be sorted out too. And we're going to have a say in it too. And maybe even various parts of it. Yeah. And maybe they'll make with this card a whole new situation that they don't call Canada or US. So yeah, start visualizing how you want it to look. Start collectively, and you don't even have to agree to it, but visualize, because she attracts how she wants it. It's still a work in progress, according to my cards. So we can still help shape that. It's definitely not going to be all separated the way it is. It's like, and there's 2 different plans going forward right now, but they haven't even decided which one exactly it'll look like. It'll be different though than what it looks like now.
Yeah, the United States will need to become a republic, and Canada will probably be a republic as well too, Mexico as well. Basically, the big plan is to have Canada all the way down to South America to become one big country, right? So North and South America. I know that would freak some people out right now. It's not that it's happening right away. A lot of significant changes, basically looking at provinces, maybe states going independent, right? And looking at republics being formed, then that gives the opportunity for one country to come together. But as a corporation, no, that's not going to happen. It needs to be republic based. Okay, let's look at Liz stack here. Liz says, what role and responsibilities will Princess Diana have? It is kind of jumping ahead of the gun because Diana hasn't revealed herself yet. But if she does reveal herself, what role and responsibilities will she have?
She's going to be by Trump's side. They're going to work together. So that's soul connected. So I'm not saying they're partners per se, although some people say they are, and I don't know if they are, but I always get that they're soulfully connected and working together. And I feel like they're both hybrids of some kind and were placed maybe in the families they ended up in to do whatever work they're doing. In Diana's case, I think outing the royals, and even through her, even if it was a falsified death, if that's what turns out to be revealed, I feel like even through that, she outed the royals. So many people knew that was likely Charles's doing, basically, or the Queen's, or both, or M16s, or whatever those guys are called. I can't remember all the names of those guys, but they know where that, like so many people, it woke up so many people when she was basically taken out, and it was pretty obvious too. Yeah. So I feel like that she hasn't decided entirely, certainly a public speaking and somehow supporting what Trump does, and white hats even, because that includes the white hats, that card.
I feel if she is taken on a role, it'll probably stay behind the scenes. So if she is here, then basically I think a lot of stuff will be behind the curtain. It won't be in front. I think it'll just shock too many people at this stage. So probably a lot of if she does decide to take on a role, it would probably be behind the scenes. But like I said, if a lot of people talking about that, believing that JFK is alive, believing that Diane's alive and all that. So I don't think I'll get too much into it. It's great if that does happen. But like I said, they have to kind of stay behind the curtain if that is so. Let's go to Rebecca here. When will health insurance no longer have to be purchased? No longer needing to pass. I think if you have a quantum rollout, you don't even need to worry about health insurance. Insurance itself is just a scam. So, but we'll see what the cards say.
You could stop anytime, just like you said, Brad. Yeah. So right now, that's a yes, right now. You could stop anytime, but you have to be in a certain kind of mind frame, to not attract anything bad from that, right? So yeah, and this is like even by April of next, so this is how it evolves. I think nobody's going to buy into the scam anymore because too much truth has come out about these things. Just like taxes, and I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not advising one way or the other, but all the truths about it are so out there now that actually they're going to have a hard time if somebody's awake and aware, going, even if they bring them into court or whatever, they're going to be able to point out the illegalities of the whole system. Okay, so like as we become more knowledgeable and this gets all spread around, they're not going to be able to pull the wool over anybody's eyes, even by April, it says.
Very good. And Rebecca also has a question. Is there an emergency broadcast system announcement looking to come this month in December? So another EBS question.
Looks like they're being really careful with that because they know the consequences. A lot of people are disappointed it hasn't happened already. In fact, they had a few times they should have, could have, would have brought it out, but they didn't because of carefulness. There's this 3 of Cups in the middle. It could come out at a time when everybody's celebrating. So that sounds like Christmas or even that World Cup situation. I wonder if that could happen. And there's going to be a lot of, most of the world will be in some kind of a celebration when it does. So that's interesting. I've never seen that in the cards, so that's interesting. And they're working on honing on exactly what would be the perfect day and time. So they're doing it out of carefulness and being very cautious about it, because I think it would have huge implications. And it could go bad in some places, like maybe not certain places, but some places it could go bad.
Great. So Bear Builder here has a very interesting question. Can the cards tell us how many people are on the planet right now? The population.
Well, they don't do numbers, but this should be creative and interesting. Let's see what we got. Like, we'll see if there's more than they say.
I do have an answer, but I'll wait to the end.
Okay, let's see what I get.
Yeah.
I think they've been exaggerating.
Mhm.
I think there's less people than they say.
Yep.
Is that what you get,
What I
Brad?
was going to say, yeah, I think we're closer to maybe about 6 billion.
Moving it over there.
Yeah,
Less people than they
if
say.
we follow statistics will tell you we're pretty close to 8 billion.
Isn't that interesting? We got a 6 on this number, so it is a 6.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. And then we've got this justice, karmic justice. I think there's a lot of things that have been fudged.
Yes.
And it's a very good number for what the Earth offers, because that says it's in perfect line. The whole agenda about there's too many people, we're using up all the resources. No, the elites are trying to steal all the resources. And all of that's an agenda to make you feel bad and guilty for being here, which is all just their agenda, right?
Yeah. So I'm getting closer to the idea of 6 billion people there.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I'm feeling intuitively. That's kind of the number that came to me when you were shuffling the cards. So that's good. And like I said, the population overgrowth is never a problem. It is all based on agenda. So that's a very good question, Bear. Thank you for that. Let's go to Shelley here. Shelley says, can you tell us about silver going up, and if you can see it going up, when might that happen? So I actually got quite a few silver dollars downstairs too, so it's gifted to me.
I like silver.
Yeah, silver is great. Yeah, good.
I love it. Okay, so it's 3. So we've had to surrender in the past to the manipulation of silver. So it's been hidden from us what its true worth is. We've got the Page of Cups, so that's a yes, and it definitely goes up with that. And even 3 times, or even with a 3 in front of it. So I don't know what that would be. 3. And it's been hidden. I think it already got adjusted in price, and it's been covered up. So isn't that interesting? Seems to be a cover up here. The fact that it's low still is part of the movie, it feels like. And it could adjust at any time when certain things change or are revealed is what I'm getting. And I get maybe take advantage of it while you can still purchase it at that price. So early in the new year is there sort of projected, but that could change. Time to put it up, like even the first month of the new year, when it gets adjusted or starts the adjustment upward. Yeah, it's all a big part of the movie that it's even so cheap. Think about it. It doesn't even make sense. Usually when markets crashing, silver and gold go up, and they've mysteriously not. So it's fascinating. Something weird's going on. You bet.
So this one's from Heather. Heather says, you both mentioned about a year ago that a new World Wide Web is being launched. Is this still in the works? I really noticed how much apps or operating systems are being funneled to Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Gmail, Yahoo, Adobe. I can sign in through Google, etc. It's like they're amalgamating it into one system. They pretty much are. Pretty much are amalgamating into one system. Those names are just names, right? It really all just follows under one central network.
So that's a big yes. It's already been created, it looks like. But there's been setbacks. So that's disappointment and setbacks. Temporary, though, it's only a minor arcana, so it's only temporary. And it's being rolled out by the White Hats, the Alliance, the Galactic Helpers. Like there's, yeah, in the new year for sure, or in the next year.
Great. Very good. Thank you, Heather. This one is from Debbie. Debbie says, what will be the outcome for the Dutch farmers? So how the Dutch farmers are doing. They've been fighting on the front lines, seeing how they're doing. What is the outcome for them?
So a lot of what's happening there is an illusion. Not saying them fighting is an illusion, but what they're fighting has already been capitulated. So they're only trying to show you what these guys are capable of. So they're puppeting these people to roll out agendas like stealing all the land of the farmers. Okay. So all of that's cabal outing the cabal. Rising, taking the veil away from what these guys are capable of. That's my cabal card. Now it'll come in different questions, not about cabal, obviously, and it'll mean the traditional meanings of the Hierophant. But when you ask a question about these governments, it does tend to come up as the cabal. So it feels like that's all shrouded. And what you're watching, you got to remember you're watching a movie. They're going to get their land back. They're not right at the last minute or the 11th hour when it looks like they're getting it taken away. It comes back to them. So it's not real. And that's the good news, but they should keep holding the line because that's important.
Yeah. Reminds me of the Canadian Freedom Convoy with what they're doing. So very good. Here's one here is from Susan. Is it true that the intent of all of V's given to people since birth are to disconnect us from source? I'm not too sure what her question is. Oh, vaccinations. Okay. Is it true that all the intent of vaccinations given to people since birth are to disconnect us from source or intuition? You can't be disconnected from your source, Susan. That's impossible. Okay. But what they're doing is they're trying to shut down DNA. It's basically just trying to disrupt your whole body. It's working with DNA and RNA. And that's what's causing disruptions here. But you can never be disconnected. You are spirit.
Yeah.
It's not something you acquire. You are that. Right? But I know what you're saying, but we just have to kind of put that little disclaimer ahead. So let's do what the cards say.
So they've definitely been trying to mess with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
DNA, RNA.
I'd say 80% of them are useless. There might be a few good ones, but like most of them are not. Probably in the very beginning, but then I think the bad guys took over the whole agenda and turned it into what it is today. So maybe the very first few people that created vaccines might have had some good ideas there. So we've got the sun and all of it's going to be undone, you guys. And sunlight is not bad for you. In fact, it's really good for you. And it's really important to get some vitamin E and sunlight, whatever. Doesn't vitamin E come from?
It repairs damaged DNA. So when you go in the sun completely refreshes you, rejuvenates your DNA.
That'll help you a lot. You can go a long way even repairing yourself, what damage they can do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So here's the interesting thing. Whenever I read on this, all of their little agendas, they're really bad at what they do, by the way.
Oh, they are.
They really messed up the whole vax thing. They flubbed it really bad. And, these guys aren't very good. Like bad intentions doesn't equal genius. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they've been messing things up for a really long time. And, it's going to become really obvious. They haven't done a great job on if they were really good at being as bad as they're trying to be, we'd have all been wiped off the earth a long time ago. They're obviously bad at it.
The good news is we've had so many informants that have prevented that from
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole idea of the entire vaccination agenda was to create artificial intelligence. So they basically zombify the entire population, make them completely controllable. They'd use CRISPR technology, they'd use different types of AI, and they put that in your body,
Yep.
and you'd be completely susceptible to control algorithms. So it's kind of like you're a radio tuner in that sense,
Yeah.
getting all these things. But the good news is we've had so much intervention, like I said, from the human guardians. You've
Yep.
had higher ups in that sense know about all this stuff, and they've put a kibosh on it. This is why there were so many freighters that were just basically stranded in the middle of an ocean, because they have all kinds of vaccines, they have all this technology, they have weaponization technology. All of them were being halted in the middle of the ocean. So you can't move. We're going to do all these big inspections to make sure that if there's any of that debris that's on your vessel, then you guys are going to be apprehended. So there was a big halt in regards to the freight containers. I mean, we all remember that back in 2021 as well too. But their entire intention was just to zombify everybody, was to basically use artificial intelligent vaccines. Fortunately, there's so much off-planet assistance for that to basically wipe all that off the map. So they were trying to do a good job, but they were just infiltrated. We knew what was happening before that happened. So this is what basically caused their whole plans to do it. They were too complacent, and their complacency is what has doomed them. So that's what we're seeing now. So farewell to them, sayonara. So let's go to Marcia here. I'm wondering if the Canadian crypto exchange, such as Wealthsimple or the US Theta wallet site, are considered unsafe as well to leave your cryptos with. Are they in danger of being corrupt and going down like some of the US crypto exchanges? So that's Wealthsimple and Theta wallet in the US.
Okay, I need that to be asked somehow different.
Yeah, we'll have to see it. So basically, in regards to crypto exchanges, like let's take a look at Wealthsimple, for example. If the Canadian crypto exchange, such as Wealthsimple, is it safe to keep cryptocurrencies there? Right. So we can start off with that.
That's a soft yes. And it will depend on the wallet and energies attached to it, because this card's fickle. And depending on who you're working with there, there's a lot that have secret agendas. So some of them are and some of them aren't. Maybe really work with your instincts and intuition on it. And also it's saying here, keeping and or acquiring things physically in your possession is your best bet. And I know you can't do that with cryptos, but right now, just how unstable things are, because we know everything's kind of going to crash before it gets better. I mean, we've been talking about that for a couple of years now. Okay, so it's not like all of those things, anything to do with the market's unsafe. So if those are attached to the market, it's going to be unsafe, and then it'll rebuild itself. So when we look at stuff like that, we're looking into the future of what becomes safe again. Okay. But physical, literal things you can hold in your hand, like metals, a property, things like that. Those are your best bet, at least right now.
Okay, great. So Marcia, hope that helps you. Let's go to Diane next. Diane says, we know our government in Canada has sold us out to the global cabal. Are we behind the 8 ball in Canada because Trudeau is so compromised? When can we expect a change of guard here in Canada? Thank you.
Okay, maybe I'll look at that change of guard part, because I've been saying for years, just like I know you have, Brad, that Trudeau is puppeted. He's not really, he didn't get really in power. That was obviously a steal. All of that's obvious, and it's to point back at this and go, look at what you guys were okay with. Are you kidding me? Right? So we never do this again. Right? So the sleepers that were okay with Trudeau getting back in when obviously everybody hated him in the whole country makes no sense. Okay. And they're probably going to give us a little spanking about that later. They're going to go, look at you guys, Canadians, you let that go, right? We should have rose up like those Brazilians are. Okay, but let's have a look. So I'm not going to answer that part, but I'll do the second part, which is when does that puppet get off the stage? I can't wait for that. Again, they're being very careful, cautious and carefulness. They don't want civil war. They don't want all of their hard work to be destroyed, where everybody turns against them if they just step in on government. Okay, there's all these reasons why they're being really careful. And this is the 6 of Swords again. So within 6 hours, days, or weeks. So it's definitely something that's happening, but they're taking into consideration timing and carefulness. So it's like an operation. It's an operative. It's like when military are in an operation, right? You always have to have plan A, B, C, D, E. I was told that by Michael Jaco, actually, because he was an operative for years. Okay, so yeah, I think it's even within the next month is absolutely something they're wanting. Days, I think we could be looking at days, but it's all about are they going to be able to keep as many people safe as they can? And yeah.
Great. This one here is from Sarah. I guess basically the bottom line of her question is Australia preparing for another lockdown over Christmas time? She basically said on Australia TV, they were talking about Christmas, saying things about spending Christmas with your neighbors rather than traveling to family. A soft fall for lockdown. So is Australia looking to go through a soft lockdown over Christmas time?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Mhm.
Their fake government is making those kind of moves like everybody is. There's all kinds of military on the ground, good military. So that's already waiting in Australia.
Mhm.
Because when truth hits there, so they're posturing like they're posturing everywhere to do that. Will it actually come? I don't think it will. People will hold their own. I think you're going to find that a lot of communities fight it where they didn't before. I think you're going to, and they want to see that actually. They want to see that. I think you're going to find that half the communities are saying no. They're waking up a lot of people with that, even if you don't see it right yet.
Great. Yeah, I'm feeling that as well. So even if there is certain lockdowns, it's all part of the plan, usually just to take out a lot of people in power that should not be in power.
Yeah. I got a plan for that. So I'm going to run this by you, Brad, see what you think. At least here in Canada, if they pull that, because I could see them posturing a little bit about that in some places in Canada too. Not in Alberta, but some places.
Ontario, most definitely. If they try.
Right. So what I say is, and I feel really strong about it, just don't buy it. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You walk in a store, you say, no masks. Are you kidding? You didn't learn from the first bout of this BS. You just absolutely refuse. Just politely say no. Fool me once, you don't get to fool me twice. Like that. And I'm just going to do that no matter what. No matter what. Try that, because it's all an illusion anyway. All right. Just don't buy it. See if that works.
Great. So I think we're going to go for one more question here. Actually, before we go to our last question, Jenny, was there anything that you've shared recently through your readings that you felt was pretty profound that you wanted to share with the audience today? Was there anything, any person said a really good question? You said, oh, this is a really good thing I should share with other people. Yeah.
An actual personal thing that happened to do with my wolf again, or no, it wasn't a wolf, but it looked like one. It was a coyote. So do you remember, Brad, the story about just before I got taken off YouTube and all the platforms, like both my channels taken down, and then because of that, Patreon as well, because they were all connected to Patreon. Mm-hmm. Anyway, just before that, the day before, literally the day before, a coyote came into my yard and attacked my black cat, Betty, which is like a symbol of, like, if you look at the card, the Queen of Wands, she's got a little black cat. She's the witch of the tarot, the good witch. She would read tarot cards or be intuitive or whatever, and make potions, all the stuff I do, right? So you got this little black cat in the bottom, and it represents in the card your intuitive knowing. And she always checks in with that. So my black cat could represent that, right? So in the animal kingdom, that's a representation. So a coyote attacked it, and I had to intervene and chase the coyote away. Betty was fine, but she could have been killed in that. But I heard the ruckus, and it was interesting because I was going to go out and I didn't right at the last minute. And while I would have been out, that would have happened. They would have killed her. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was all sort of a miraculous, interesting thing. And I told the story and I said, okay, something's going to attack my intuitive voice. in the world. My website or my channels, they all went down the next day. But Coyote is not evil. Coyote is a trickster. So even if we don't like the lessons of Coyote, you have to laugh at yourself, because Coyote is not evil. It's meant to teach you something. So there's a lesson in it. Okay, so it wasn't evil that it took down my channels. It was probably the white hats, because there was things I was saying on there. Maybe they didn't need people to hear right now, or I don't know what. Maybe I was outing their plans to the bad guys. I don't know. Anyway, so the Coyote came back, okay, last night. And I only told Tom Numbers this today. So the Coyote came back, and it was playful this time. We saw it outside the window. I was with a dear person to me. We were decorating the Christmas tree. We saw the Coyote out the window, clearly the same one. And this time it came right into the yard, made eye contact. And I'm not exaggerating. It was, I still can't even believe this. It made literal eye contact at us in the house. We were looking at it out the window. It came really close, which is totally not what coyotes do. They just run down the middle of roads in cities. This thing came really close, and then it put its head down. And you know how puppies, they got their tail in the air, the tail's going like that, and the bottom part of the body's down, and they're looking at you. It did that. It did playful mode, like a dog. Okay, so it was almost like trying to entice us out to play. And it was joyful. There was something, it was crazy. And then it left, and we were like, what just happened? That coyote was engaging us and being playful. So something's going to engage us, the human race maybe, and it'll be playful, tricky. It'll appear a certain way maybe, but it's actually all a trick to get our attention. Because in the end, I ended up staying up all night thinking about it, and it got my attention. Something's going to wake us up that's playful and tricky, and might not be what you think at first, and it ends up being playful. So there's going to be a situation coming to the world, I think. I think that coyote represents the white hat's next move. And we're going to be engaged, and it'll wake everybody up, and it's coming right away. I think
it's also giving the idea that things are not going to be as bad as they appear to be. Right?
Yeah, yeah. The coyote was fun and playful and never meant to hurt. And that was the takeaway when it left. It was like, oh my goodness, that little coyote wanted to play.
Exactly. And I think that's a reminder humans start playing, because stop taking what all these things are so seriously. You guys are going to be fine. You're going to be good. This is all part of a benchmark of something new that's coming. So the coyote is giving you that reminder.
Yeah.
Be good. Well, that's great. That's great to share. Thank you for that. Let's end with this last question here with Marnie. Marnie asks, why are there so many instances of animals walking in circles in the last month or so? And I think it's good because we talked about the coyote. So I think we'll end with an animal. So why are they walking in circles in the last month or so? I've seen videos of wolves, turtles, etc. What does it mean when animals are walking in circles, especially in this last month or so?
So I did 2 different videos where that was asked, and I looked at it, and I got sort of 2 versions of an answer. So I'll just put them both out there, and maybe it's a bit of both. So one, they're working in unison with earth energies and undoing spell casting on certain ley lines. Mm-hmm. And 2, they're resetting. So I think it's the same thing. They're resetting things that are off balance. So they're resetting energies on ley lines.
Adjusting the magnetic field.
Yeah, energies. Yeah, magnetic field. Yeah, there's a reset going on, and they're part of it. Yep. They're resetting energies in the natural world, and it's not hurting them to do that. It's good for everybody.
They're stewards of it. So
yeah.
Great. Well, that's great news. So Marty, there's your answer to your question. So Janine, thank you so much. Again, how can people get a hold of you? What is your website?
Can I say the whole title of it here?
Yep.
tarotbyjanine.com. That's the website. So that would be the monthly. There's a fee on that one, $4.99 American. Mm-hmm. And lots of good intel on there that I put up weekly. Also, you can get a hold of me or come watch me on Rumble with Beyond Mystic. Jean-Claude and I do a Rumble show at 4:00 Eastern on Thursdays. And then I'm on lots of great shows like Brad Johnson's show.
So, yeah, I'm going to get you back in January. So
yeah.
So I think we'll plan out to do a monthly interview like this.
Okay.
Because people want to know more about what we're doing. So, and I think we can provide some great info. So Janine, it was great to see you once again, and I'll see you again in January. And again, guys, you can just go to the YouTube channel, and on the video description, you'll see a donation link there for Janine. Go ahead and give Janine a donation. We had a great session today. And Janine, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. Blessings to you.
Thank you, Brad. And thanks everybody out there.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
And again, a reminder, once again, the Kundalini and Inner Practices Tour is taking place. So let's see if I can pull that up here. There we go. So just a reminder before I go, okay, Kundalini and Inner Practices Stonehenge Tour. Again, you can register now at wildtours.de. There are 2 spots left. Again, we're going to have a really wonderful, amazing, once-in-a-lifetime experience. Stonehenge, crop circles, Avalon, the Pleiades, Kundalini Awakening. I'm going to be hosting it from July 30th to August 6th. So again, you can register now at wildtours.de. And I also put up a 1-minute video not too long ago about etherics. Okay, so this is the brand new company that's going to be taking the name of the healing code cards. So they're not going to be called the healing code cards anymore come January. It's going to be called etherics. So we'll have the etherics body deck, we'll have the etherics mind deck, we'll have etherics energy deck. I know some people are asking me, Brad, how about you do a rating on how etherics is going to do? I said, I don't really want to do that. I want to kind of just be in the moment with etherics and just build it as best as I can. But come January, I'm going to be launching the ether beds. Okay. And I'm still working on even revamping them as good as they are right now. I'm going to still put a lot more stuff to them. And of course, they're always going to be upgraded. There's always going to be new additions to them, to the etherics ether beds. And so that is going to be coming up here in early January. So stay tuned for more information about etherics. It's very exciting. They're not med beds, okay, but they are ether beds. Okay, so they work very similarly. They work with healing. They work with your sleep. They work with lucid dreaming. They work with vivid dreaming. They work with astrological healing as well too, which I'm currently putting into them right now. So a lot of exciting stuff is coming through the ether beds and the brand new company Etherics, which is going to be the new name of the healing code cards. So anyways, guys, thank you so much. It was great to have Janine on here once again. And I hope you have all enjoyed the episode today. And again, she will be back in January. Like I said, I'm looking to do monthly interviews with Janine. So January, February, March, and so forth. So make sure you tune into that. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. And I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care and may it be well with you.
Thank you for the New Earth channel, like and subscribe. And you can check out the websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can order a private session, 3 questions by email, EQ method, and a lot more. And you can also check out healingcodecards.com, where you can grab your mind deck, your body deck, and of course the brand new body deck special edition. All of these are available in digital editions as well. And you can also get a shirt just like this through healingcodeshop.com, where you can experience the healing codes in apparel form. So feel free to check out these websites. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you again in the next video. Be well.